Before you ignore that penny on the ground, wait, some of them are worth a fortune. Here are the 1-cent coins that could surprise you, so stick around because by the end you might look at every penny a little differently. You never know, your next big find could be sitting right in your pocket. Have you ever picked up a penny and thought it was just another coin? Today, we're starting our coin journey with the 2015 D penny. On the surface, it looks like a regular coin you might find in your pocket or a cash register, but if you take a closer look, it has a few details that make it interesting for collectors. This penny was minted in Denver, which is indicated by the small D on the front. The mint mark might seem tiny, but it tells us exactly where the coin was made. Each mint has its own subtle differences in striking, and even these tiny differences can make a coin stand out. Paying attention to mint marks is one of the first things collectors learn when they start studying coins. Looking at the obverse, or front, you see Abraham Lincoln's profile. Lincoln's portrait has been on the penny since 1909. It was created to honor his 100th birthday, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Even today, the design keeps a lot of the original detail. If you look closely, you can see the lines in Lincoln's hair and the folds in his coat. These details are part of what makes the penny visually appealing, even over a century later. On the reverse, the 2015 penny features the Union Shield. This design was introduced in 2010 and replaced the older Lincoln Memorial design. The shield has 13 vertical stripes, representing the original states, and a horizontal bar symbolizing Congress holding them together. It's a simple yet meaningful design, reminding us of unity and the history behind the country. Even if it seems like just a tiny picture on a coin, it carries symbolism that goes back hundreds of years. The coin is made of copper-plated zinc, a combination used since 1982. Before that, pennies were mostly copper. The change in material affects the coin's weight, color, and even how it ages over time. Modern pennies like the 2015 D are lighter and slightly shinier when new. Collectors often notice these differences when they compare older and newer coins side by side. Even though it looks ordinary, the 2015 D penny can be interesting to collectors because of minting details. Some coins may have small errors, like tiny die cracks or slight differences in how the design was struck. These imperfections can make a coin unique. You don't need a major mistake to spot something special, sometimes the smallest detail can catch a collector's eye. Condition is another factor that makes a difference. A coin that has been handled less, stored carefully, or hasn't been in circulation for long often shows more detail. The lines in Lincoln's face are sharper, the shield looks cleaner, and the edges are smoother. Collectors often use magnifying glasses to inspect these details and to make sure nothing is missed. It's always a good idea to check coins carefully, even ones that seem ordinary. The 2015 D penny is common enough that you can find it in circulation, but it also has features and small variations that make it worth a closer look. A careful eye can spot things that most people miss, and that's part of the fun of collecting. The 2015 D penny is also a reminder of the history behind the Lincoln Cent series. Since 1909, Lincoln pennies have been in continuous production. That's over a century of coins connecting us to the past. Every penny you hold has been part of everyday life, passed from hand to hand, and even saved by collectors who recognized its design or minting details. For those who are just starting out in coin collecting, this penny is a great example to study. You can examine the mint mark, look closely at Lincoln's portrait, and check the shield on the back. Each feature has its own story, and understanding these details helps build a foundation for recognizing other coins in the future. Collectors often share stories of finding interesting coins in unexpected places. A single 2015 D penny in a jar of change could have a slight minting difference or be in unusually good condition. That's why examining coins closely is so important. Even ordinary-looking pennies can have unique characteristics that make them noteworthy. When you hold a 2015 D penny, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a piece of history, part of a long tradition that connects the present to the past. You can see the careful design of Lincoln's portrait, the symbolic Union shield, and even the tiny D that marks its origin. Each detail tells a story if you take the time to look. It's also worth noting that coins like this encourage curiosity. Looking closely at pennies, noticing details, and understanding their history can lead to learning about other coins, minting techniques, and even American history. A simple penny becomes more than just change, it becomes a small lesson in history, art, and design. So, next time you see a 2015 D penny, pick it up and examine it. Look at Lincoln's profile, check the details in the shield, and notice the mint mark. Take your time and pay attention to small differences. Even though it's just a 1-cent coin, it has its own story to tell. The 2015 D penny reminds us that even everyday objects have details worth noticing. It connects us to over a century of Lincoln pennies, shows the craftsmanship of the mint, and carries symbols of unity from its shield design. By paying attention, we can appreciate the coin beyond its small size and understand why collectors find even modern pennies interesting. So, keep your eyes open when handling coins. Look for details in mint marks, design elements, and condition. The 2015 D penny is a great place to start, giving you a chance to study a coin closely and notice small things that might otherwise be overlooked. Up next, we're diving into a coin that at first glance looks completely ordinary, the 2003 Lincoln penny. But appearances can be deceiving. What seems like a common 1-cent coin actually has a unique feature that makes it highly sought after by collectors. The Lincoln cent series has been around since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The series was originally introduced to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, and his profile has graced the obverse ever since. While the overall design remains familiar, each year's production carries small differences in how coins are struck, which can make one coin stand out from another. The 2003 penny looks like most other pennies in circulation. On the front, Lincoln's profile is crisp and well-defined. Every detail in his hair, beard, and coat remains visible, showing the careful craftsmanship of the mint. The obverse is more than just a face on a coin, it's a symbol of history, connecting us to the memory of one of the most important figures in American history. On the back, the 2003 Lincoln penny features the Lincoln Memorial design. The memorial design was introduced in 1959 and remained standard until 2008. Even though it might appear small or simple to casual observers, the design carries intricate details, including tiny columns, steps, and shadows that can be appreciated with careful observation. Collectors often spend time studying these details, looking for anything unusual or out of place. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. A tiny number of 2003 Lincoln pennies were struck with what's called a minting error. During the coin's production, some blanks, called planchets, did not sit perfectly under the dies. This caused the image to be misaligned, off-center, or in some cases, slightly doubled. These errors are extremely rare, and they instantly draw the attention of collectors because they're not something you see every day. Minting errors like this are fascinating because they are completely accidental. Millions of coins are produced every day, yet only a handful may carry an anomaly. Each error coin has its own story, essentially a snapshot of the production process at the exact moment something went slightly off track. That unpredictability is part of what makes coins like the 2003 Lincoln penny so intriguing. Condition plays a critical role as well. A coin that has been circulated will show wear, edges may be smoothed, details in Lincoln's face may fade, and the lines of the memorial may not be as clear. But a penny that has been carefully preserved can retain nearly all of its original detail, from the sharpness of Lincoln's profile to the clean lines of the memorial. This makes examining a coin under magnification a key step for collectors. Collectors often compare coins side by side, looking for differences in alignment, die strikes, or other small anomalies. The 2003 penny serves as a perfect example of why this attention to detail matters. Even among modern pennies, those with rare errors or exceptional preservation can stand out dramatically. The rarity of error coins also reflects a larger lesson about minting and production. The United States Mint produces billions of pennies each year, but the machines that strike them are not flawless. Variations in pressure, slight misalignments, and tiny differences in planchet thickness can all create unexpected results. While most coins are perfectly struck, a small fraction capture these tiny imperfections, creating pieces that are unique in the world. For many collectors, the 2003 Lincoln penny demonstrates that you don't have to look back a century to find something remarkable. Modern coins can hold surprises, and discovering them requires careful observation and patience. It's a reminder that the hobby of coin collecting is about more than just old or rare coins. It's about paying attention to detail and understanding what makes each coin different. In addition to minting anomalies, the story of the 2003 penny also touches on its production context. By this year, the Lincoln penny had been in continuous production for almost a century, and the U.S. Mint had perfected many aspects of striking coins efficiently and accurately. Yet, despite advanced technology, human oversight and machine imperfections still allowed for the creation of a very small number of unusual coins. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is seeing how collectors value both rarity and condition together. A coin with a misaligned die is interesting, but if it's also well preserved, with sharp edges, clear details, and minimal wear, its significance increases dramatically. The combination of a rare error and near-perfect condition is what turns a seemingly ordinary penny into something extraordinary. And that brings us to the astonishing part of the story. A 2003 Lincoln penny with the right minting anomaly, preserved in excellent condition, has been reported to reach an impressive $29,000. Yes, a coin that looks like something you could find in your pocket or a jar of change can, under the right circumstances, be extremely valuable. It's a reminder that even coins produced in the modern era can carry surprises that collectors treasure. So, next time you see a 2003 Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it as just a 1-cent coin. Take a moment to examine it. Look closely at Lincoln's profile, the details of the memorial, and whether anything looks unusual. Even a subtle variation could be the difference between an ordinary penny and a highly sought-after collectible. For anyone getting into coin collecting, this penny also offers a lesson in patience and observation. The excitement of discovering something unique doesn't always come from the oldest coins, it can appear in the coins you handle every day. Paying attention, learning to spot errors, and understanding condition are all skills that this penny helps develop. The next coin we're going to examine is the 1998 D penny. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary piece of change, one you might find in a pocket, a purse, or a jar at home. But if you look closely, there are unique features that make this coin particularly intriguing for collectors. This penny was minted in Denver, which is identified by the small D mint mark on the front. Mint marks are tiny letters, but they carry a lot of meaning. They tell collectors where the coin was produced and can reveal subtle differences in the strike, texture, and alignment of the design. Coins from different mints can vary in ways that are fascinating when studied carefully. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln, as it has for more than a century. Lincoln's image on the 1998 D penny shows fine detail in his hair, beard, and clothing. The precision of the lines varies slightly from coin to coin, and these differences can be the first thing collectors notice when examining a coin closely. Even though the design is familiar, the quality of the strike is something that can make one penny stand out from millions of others. Turning the coin over, the reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial. For decades, this design was the standard for pennies, and collectors often enjoy inspecting it closely. The memorial has intricate details, including the columns, steps, and the tiny inscriptions that represent American history. On some coins, these details appear sharper, while on others, they may be slightly softer. Such variations can make a coin more interesting to collectors. What makes the 1998 D penny particularly special is the presence of a rare minting error. A very small number of these pennies were struck slightly off-center or with subtle doubling in the design. These errors are not immediately obvious and can be easy to overlook without careful examination. However, for those who know what to look for, these small anomalies make the coin highly collectible. Minting errors occur naturally, even with the precision of modern machinery. Millions of coins are produced each day, yet sometimes planchets aren't perfectly aligned, or the die strikes the coin in a slightly unusual way. When this happens, a coin can emerge that is visually distinct from the majority produced in the same year. These rare occurrences are exactly what collectors look for. Condition is another critical factor that determines a coin's appeal. A well-preserved penny maintains the sharpness of Lincoln's features, the crisp lines of the memorial, and the clean edges around the coin. Circulated pennies, on the other hand, often show where that softens these details and reduces their interest for collectors. A coin that looks nearly mint can command far more attention than one that has been handled heavily. Collectors frequently use magnifying tools to inspect coins in detail. They look for irregularities in the strike, variations in the lettering, or even slight differences in the depth of the relief. The 1998 D penny is a perfect example of why such careful examination is necessary. Even a coin that seems ordinary at first glance can hold surprises for those willing to take a closer look. Another interesting aspect of this coin is that it proves modern pennies can be collectible. Many people assume that only old coins are valuable or unique, but the 1998 D penny shows that even coins from recent decades can be rare if they have unusual features and have been preserved well. It demonstrates that value in coin collecting isn't solely about age, it's about uniqueness, quality, and condition. The coin also reflects the precision and challenges of the minting process. Even with advanced machinery, slight imperfections are possible, and these small anomalies are what make certain coins unique. Every minting error tells a story about the process, the machinery, and the care involved in producing billions of coins each year. The 1998 D penny is a tangible example of this intersection between modern production and collector interest. For collectors, coins like this encourage close observation and learning. By checking the mint mark, the alignment of the design, and the overall condition, collectors develop skills that help them identify other rare coins. The 1998 D penny provides a great learning opportunity for anyone new to the hobby, showing how even a modern coin can hold fascinating details. It's also a coin that encourages patience. Many collectors spend hours examining jars of pennies, looking for something unusual. This coin teaches that small differences, which might seem insignificant at first, can dramatically affect a coin's desirability. The reward for careful inspection is discovering a coin that stands out from the millions of others produced that year. The 1998 D penny is more than just a 1-cent coin, it's a piece of history and a reflection of the minting process. Every line on Lincoln's face, every column on the memorial, and even the placement of the D mint mark contributes to its story. Collectors often say that paying attention to these details transforms a simple coin into a fascinating collectible. Even though the coin was minted less than 30 years ago, it has managed to gain attention because of its rare characteristics and condition. The story of the 1998 D penny is a reminder that value is often hidden in plain sight. What looks ordinary to most people can, with a closer look, reveal something remarkable. And now, for the most important part, a 1998 D penny with the rare minting characteristics and in excellent condition can have a coin value of $37,000. That's a striking example of how careful observation, attention to detail, and understanding what makes a coin unique can reveal the hidden potential in even the most common-looking pieces. Now let's move on to a coin that many might think of as ordinary, but holds subtle details that make it interesting, the 1988 penny. While it may seem like a simple piece of change, it has characteristics that collectors and enthusiasts pay attention to when examining modern pennies. The 1988 penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. This image has been used for more than a century and remains one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage. Lincoln's profile captures a surprising amount of detail for such a small coin. You can see the texture of his hair, the lines in his beard, and even the folds of his coat. Every one of these details tells a story about the precision of the minting process. Turning the coin over, we see the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Although it may seem like a simple architectural representation, it is filled with intricate details. The columns, steps, and tiny inscriptions all require careful observation to fully appreciate. Collectors often spend time examining these elements, noting how sharply they were struck or whether any minor variations are present. One aspect that makes the 1988 penny interesting is how it reflects the technology and techniques of the U.S. Mint at the time. Coins were produced in massive quantities, but slight variations in pressure, alignment, or planchet quality could occur. These variations are not considered defects, they're natural byproducts of the minting process, but they make each coin slightly unique. Another detail collectors examine is the mint mark. The 1988 penny could have been minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, each with its own subtle differences. Mint marks may seem like small letters, but they provide valuable information about where a coin was produced and can affect how it is categorized by collectors. Condition is always a key factor when it comes to examining pennies. A coin that has remained uncirculated or minimally handled will retain sharp lines in Lincoln's profile and the memorial's intricate details. Coins that have been heavily circulated show wear, smoothing out these fine lines and reducing the coin's appeal for those interested in preservation and detail. The 1988 penny also illustrates how subtle differences can make coins collectible, even if they are not extremely rare. Slight variations in the strike, small differences in coloration, or minor planchet anomalies are all things that collectors look for. These small features are what make studying coins so engaging. From a historical perspective, the 1988 penny represents a time when the U.S. Mint was balancing mass production with attention to quality. Millions of pennies were produced each year, and while most look identical, each coin is an individual product of a highly precise process. Even minor differences, like the sharpness of lines or the texture of the coin's surface, tell a story about the minting practices of that year. Collecting coins like the 1988 penny is also a lesson in observation. It teaches enthusiasts to look carefully, compare coins side by side, and notice subtle differences that could otherwise go unnoticed. This is why even coins that seem ordinary to the casual eye can be fascinating to someone who appreciates the details of minting. The 1988 penny also demonstrates how coins serve as a snapshot of their time. Each year of production reflects not only the design choices made by the mint but also the technology and standards of that era. By studying coins, collectors gain insight into history, design evolution, and even changes in production methods over time. For modern collectors, the 1988 penny is a great example of how careful inspection can reveal unexpected details. Whether it's a slight doubling of the design, a tiny scratch, or a small difference in coloration, these features make each coin unique and rewarding to study. Even though it was produced in large numbers, this penny is more than just a 1-cent coin. It's a miniature piece of history that connects us to the minting process, to Lincoln's enduring legacy, and to the small details that make coin collecting an engaging hobby. So, if you ever come across a 1988 penny, don't just glance at it. Hold it, examine it closely, and notice the fine details of Lincoln's profile, the columns of the memorial, and even the placement of the mint mark. There's a lot more to discover than what meets the eye. The 1988 penny may seem like an everyday coin, but it serves as a reminder that every coin has a story. It encourages careful observation, appreciation for design, and an understanding of how coins are made. Even in a jar of ordinary pennies, there is potential for discovery. For anyone new to coin collecting, the 1988 penny is a perfect example of why attention to detail matters. Studying a coin closely can reveal aspects of minting, subtle design differences, and other features that make collecting not just a hobby but a way to connect with history. Finally, the 1988 penny shows that value in collecting isn't always about rarity or age. It's about noticing the small differences, understanding the production process, and appreciating the details that make each coin unique. Even everyday coins can become fascinating subjects when examined with curiosity and care. And finally, our top coin of today is the 1977 penny. This is a coin that many people have handled without realizing there could be something remarkable hidden in its details. Even though it's nearly half a century old, you can still find this penny in circulation today, which makes it even more surprising when a rare example turns out to be incredibly special. The 1977 penny carries the classic Lincoln portrait on the front, the same familiar design we've seen for decades. But collectors often take a moment to study the finer points of this particular year. The clarity of the portrait, the depth of the features, and the sharpness of the lettering are all things that can vary slightly from coin to coin. These small differences are what collectors are always looking for. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial design continues the tradition used for many years. The memorial might look simple at a distance, but under close inspection, you can see the careful engraving that brings out the columns, the steps, and the tiny details that often go unnoticed. Coins from the 1970s can show differences in how sharply this design was struck, and those differences are important to collectors. One interesting thing about the 1977 penny is that it was minted during a time when coin production was changing. Advances in technology were improving the consistency of the minting process, but slight variations still happened. These variations can include changes in die wear, small shifts in alignment, or differences in the planchet surface. All of these factors can affect how a coin appears and how collectors evaluate it. Collectors also pay close attention to the overall condition of this penny. Even though it was produced in large quantities, finding one that has survived with crisp details and clean surfaces can be challenging. Coins that avoided heavy circulation usually show stronger features and smoother fields, making them stand out from the millions of others produced that same year. Another appealing aspect of the 1977 penny is its potential for minting anomalies. While most coins from this year are completely normal, a very small number may show irregularities caused by minor production inconsistencies. These aren't always dramatic errors, they can be subtle differences that require careful observation to identify. But for collectors, spotting something unusual is part of the excitement. The 1977 penny also represents a period when the U.S. Mint was focused on efficiency. Billions of pennies were produced throughout the decade, yet each one is the result of a precise process involving heavy machinery, high-quality dies, and strict metal composition standards. When a coin from such large production numbers manages to stand out, it becomes particularly meaningful. For anyone examining a 1977 penny, paying attention to the surfaces, edges, lettering, and alignment of the design is essential. Even the slightest variation, when combined with strong condition, can make one example significantly more desirable than another. This is why collectors often use magnification and bright lighting to study these coins in detail. It's also worth noting that the copper composition of the 1977 penny adds to its appeal. This penny was still made of copper before the composition changed in the early 1980s. The warm color, the tone of the metal, and how well it ages all contribute to the way this coin is judged by collectors. A coin that has naturally aged well without heavy wear is especially attractive. The 1977 penny reminds us that value in coin collecting doesn't always come from age alone. Sometimes it comes from condition, rarity of certain features, and the presence of characteristics that separate one coin from the rest. A coin that might seem ordinary at first glance can become surprisingly significant when examined carefully. Even though millions of these pennies exist, only a tiny fraction have the specific combination of sharp details, strong strike, and exceptional preservation that collectors look for. And when a coin from this year matches all those factors, it becomes something far more special than its common appearance suggests. This coin encourages collectors to look beyond the obvious. Something as familiar as a penny can still reveal unexpected qualities, especially when preserved with care. The 1977 penny is a perfect example of how patience, careful study, and understanding the minting process can lead to exciting discoveries. Some collectors even note slight tonal variations or surface textures unique to this year, making certain coins visually distinct. Others pay attention to the spacing of the lettering or the appearance of the rim, searching for clues about how the coin was struck. These small details may seem minor, but they add depth to the study of this penny and highlight the variety found within a single year of production. It's also interesting to see how the aging of copper affects different coins in different ways. Some show deeper color tones, while others maintain a lighter appearance depending on their environment over the years. These natural changes often contribute to the character of each coin and make examining multiple examples even more engaging. And now, here's the highlight of today's top find. A 1977 penny with the right characteristics and preserved in outstanding condition has been sold for an impressive $72,000. Before we wrap up, if you enjoyed learning about these unique pennies, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and ensures you never miss out on future coin finds and discoveries. Feel free to turn on the notification bell as well, so you'll be the first to know whenever a new video goes live. Thank you so much for watching and spending time with us today. Your support means a lot, and it keeps us motivated to bring you more interesting and educational content.